do this. All right. So that's kind of how I'm wired up, and that's how I'm going to keep it, and hopefully it comes through and you like the delivery. So let's get started. So today's talk is 7 Secrets of Successful Day Traders. Webinar starts at 1 p.m. East Coast time. We are right on time here. We're letting a few people, usually have some stragglers coming in. We're just giving them a little bit of time just in case they don't have watches or they can't tell time. The number one question we get on these webinars are, yes, this is being recorded. That by no means means that you'll get a recording of it, because half the time the gremlins will get you and it just won't be recorded, and then the other half of the time we may just not want to release it. Okay, so we record most of them, but sometimes technology will just get you. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now let me go to the next slide. 7 Secrets of Successful Day Traders by Hubert Centers. Now, I am registered, so first we have to cover the legal warnings, okay? And here's what I'll guarantee you. The only warning or only guarantee I can give you is that my first job is I kind of do it like a medical doctor. My first job as a trader, number one, is for me to make money. My second job as an educator to teach other people how to trade is first do no harm. So first, heads up, you're going to lose a lot of money. You will potentially lose all of your money that you are actually trading with right now. So be careful, all right? You've got to treat this like a real business. It is risky. You never want to trade with more money than you can afford to lose. Does everybody understand? This is a serious business. We are throwing around serious cash. When I'm talking about back testing stuff, that's all hypothetical and simulated, and don't think that that's going to continue up, okay? So if I say something's happening 22% of the time, that means it's probably happening now. If I say something's happening 82% of the time, that may be happening right now, but that does not mean they'll forward optimize test really well, okay? All right, so as long as we're on the same page, do not trade with more money than you can afford to lose. It is just a bad idea, because God forbid if it goes haywire and you just lose all your money. I got to be able to sleep at night, and you got to be able to sleep at night. All right, so we're going to go over several secrets. Now, when the webinar sign up was 7 Secrets to Successful Day Traders, I'm going to give you a bunch of tips today on how to be a better day trader. Now, I make more money as a swing trader, but lots more people really love day trading. It's kind of odd. A lot of people just think that day trading is really sexy, and day trading is sexy because it looks like it's lower risk, higher reward type stuff. And really what it is most people just get seduced into being a day trader because they want to get in, get theirs, get out, and then move on. All right. So we're going to go over several different tips that I think that are important after doing this for 18 plus years, and then also helping, tens of thousands of people kind of navigate through the landmine. So number one, you have got to manage your risk. If you manage your risk, you can get away with a lot of mistakes. So just think about that intellectually right now. If you manage your risk properly, you can get away with breaking some rules here and there. You can actually break quite a few rules if you just manage your risk properly. I could take just an average Joe off the street and say, look, here's how much money you can risk every day. You can risk no more than this, and that's it. And he can pretty much just throw darts at a dartboard to figure out what he's going to trade, long or short, what instrument, long or short, and he would probably be okay, just because the management of the risk would already be put in place. So one of the things is, do you hear a lot of people talk about like, oh, Goldman Sachs is amazing. They've never lost money. They're always profitable. And you'll see these horror stories where people that were in middle management or upper management at Goldman Sachs goes somewhere else and then they blow up a firm. Have you guys ever seen that in the media, like Corzine, stuff like that? And then other people that'll just leave Goldman Sachs, they were trained and taught at Goldman Sachs and they were awesome. And then when they left Goldman Sachs, they blew up, or they just created a carnage situation. The reason that happens is Goldman Sachs, not because they're such great traders, they are really, really good traders. They're some of the best traders in the world. But the reason they're the best traders in the world is because they have risk management second to none. So in other words, if you're doing really, really well, they'll give you a little bit more rope. If you start losing money, they'll reel you in. So their risk management business behind the background is really what makes them so much more money than anybody else, just because they're really good at managing risk. So you've got to get good at managing risk. All right, so remember this analogy. Takeoff is optional. Landing is mandatory. Takeoff is optional. Landing is mandatory. And you want to have a safe landing. So safe landings come from managing your risk properly. If you get in a trade and you don't know what your risk is before you get into the trade, if you're not using stop losses because you hate stop losses, just because you don't, well, I don't want to use a stop loss. Well, why? Well, because I would be getting stopped out. Yeah, that's the point of a stop loss. And just because you manage your risk does not mean you're going to make money. All it means is you're going to lose money at the rate that you're cool and comfortable with. Does that make sense? So you could still just blow up your account, but at least you will slow your burn rate down to a point that maybe you'll figure out a few things as you're just doing the death spiral lower, okay? And you're like, well, hold on, maybe I should tweak this or tweak that. So it'll just slow down your burn rate a ton, and you'll be a whole lot less emotional about it. You either have to manage your risk or you will blow up your account, guaranteed 100%. If you do not use stop losses, if you don't manage your risk, it's the only guarantee I can give you. I guarantee you will probably 110% blow out your account, and you will probably go through more than one account until you learn the lesson of, oh, I should manage my risk. So let's just do a little informal study here. Now, I know some of you may lie here. I just know that. Raise your hand if you do not use stops at this point in time. Who does not actively use stops in here right now? And if you don't use them, if you do not use them, why don't you use them? So I've got a few me's. I don't use stops. I use them sometimes, only sometimes. So don't know how. All right, so don't know how. So don't know how is not a really good excuse. It's kind of like, I didn't know that the speed limit was only 55, officer. That's the reason I was doing 120. So you definitely need to learn your platform. Sometimes not to define risk, options, trades, futures always. Mental stops. Mental stops are not really stops, because if some crazy drives a plane into a building, or if you have a flash crash, you'll get screwed just because you have your mental stop in there. So oddly enough, I've got a lot of people in here that are not using stops. So the number one thing is, before you do another trade, I don't care what you're trading, you've got to use stops, all right? Always define your risk. Always define your risk, even if it's something crazy. Like, let's say you have $100,000 and you go, you know what? I'm not cool with losing more than $20,000 in a day, because that could hurt you, okay? So let's move on. So we all agree that you should use stops. If you're not using stops, for the love of Pete, start using them. It'll just make your life better, all right? Okay, let's move on to the second. Well, why is my slide not moving here? There we go. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is price action, all right? Price action is king. No matter what you think, price is always right. How many times have you heard on CNBC, like, well, this move is obviously not a real move. It's moving up on low volume, and it's not really a real move. How many times have they said that on CNBC in the last 6 months? Now, I don't know, because I don't watch CNBC, but I'm sure they've said it quite a few. Well, this move, it's suspect, it's not real. Oh my, well, and now they're probably talking about, oh, well, we're making all-time new highs. All-time new highs. So 2 or 3 weeks ago or 2 or 3 months ago, the move was suspect and it wasn't a real move, but now we're making new highs. It's kind of like they switch on a dime. It's like, no, this is not real. Don't be in too big of a hurry to jump in on this move. It's going to roll over any second, and now it's new highs, new highs, new highs, new highs. So price will never lie to you. It's always right. It may not be telling you the story that you want to hear, like, hey, heads up, you're not the best looking thing in the world, right? But price will not lie to you. If you have a problem with being wrong, or if you have a big ego, heads up, it's going to sting a little bit, you're in the wrong business. Now, there's nothing wrong. I'm going to just make sure that we're crystal clear here. There's nothing wrong with being confident. There's just no room to have a big ego. If you have a big ego, the market will humble you in about a half a second. And, you know, everybody that trades has to have a little bit of an ego. You have to have some really good self-confidence and go, no, I got this. I know what I'm doing, right? We all have to have that, or we wouldn't be throwing We wouldn't be trading electrons in space over the internet without any skills. So there's nothing wrong with having a real good self-confidence and a good self-image about yourself. But if you have a big ego and if you have a problem with, well, no, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. The market's just, it's going to roll over. I just need to give it enough time. Okay? So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I got stopped at, Wednesday night, I shorted the Dow on a swing short because I think the market is getting toppy. And I lost 40 points on the Dow on a swing trade. Heads up, I was not right. I was 100% wrong, okay? I was wrong on the trade setup. It's not a bad thing. What you have to do is you have to be cool with the process. Like, do you want to be right or do you want to be wealthy? Like, if the trade worked out, great. I would have made money. I would have looked like a genius. Wonderful, yay me. I did not get the trade right, therefore I donated some cash to the market. You have to be cool with the process. If you are always hung up with no, I'm right. I am right. The market is rolling over. I mean, I would eventually blow through my account if I just said, well, I'm going to short it again. Well, I'm going to short it again. Well, I'm going to short it again. Okay? I could care less if I'm right or wrong. I just want the money as the result. And hopefully you're the same thing where you don't really care if you're right or wrong in the situation. Show me the money is what you should be saying. All right, so you have to have a plan, okay? You want to plan out your trades and then trade your plan. If you don't have a plan before you enter the market, heads up, I appreciate your money. Thank you very much. Usually the people that make money in the markets strategically just pick the pockets of the people that don't have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, and then if you're still going to, bitch and moan and complain because of you think that the professionals are taking advantage of you, why do you think they call us professionals? Because we have a plan. Okay? Why do you think they call retail and amateur traders retail and amateur traders? Because they don't have a plan. They're just trading by the seat of their pants. They're going to Vegas and they're taking some money and they're going, oh, well, I got this money. Where the good pro that knows how to count the cards or knows how to play poker and stuff like that, he's a pro for a reason. If you can't follow your own plan, you have less than a 0 chance of making it. Okay? Number one, you got to have a plan. And number two, if you got a plan and you can't follow it, that just means you're undisciplined and heads up, thanks for the cash, right? And I'm trying to be as brutally honest as I can with you. You got to have a plan. No, so risk management, got to have a plan, got to be willing to follow the plan, even if the plan sucks, okay? Then we can measure the plan, we can track the plan, then we can change the plan. So if you cannot follow your own plan, you have less than a 0 chance of making it. Those are not good odds, okay? This is not easy. Anyone that tells you that this is easy is lying to you. 100%. I don't care who it is. This is not easy, okay? It is profitable if you know what it's doing, all right? It is not easy. It's simple. It's just not easy. Like, we're like, well, how do you make money in the markets? Well, one of 3 ways. I either buy low and sell high, I buy high and sell higher, or I sell something high and cover it at a lower price. Simple, right? I mean, it sounds like, well, God, that's easy. That's simple. Simple, not easy. So get the difference. Very simple, very hard. Simple but not easy. All right? It is achievable, and it's worth it if you can get it down. If you can't get it down and you continually to burn through cash, it's because you're breaking one of the 3 rules. Number 1, you do not have your risk under control. Okay? The risk is not under control. Number 2, you don't have a plan. Number 3, you have a plan, but you suck at following the plan. Okay? Same thing, right? There's how many diet fads and stuff are there right now across the country? Like, well, there's this diet, that diet, and the other diet. Where basically, if you'll just move more, eat less, you'll probably lose weight. But they make it really, really complicated. And, okay, can you follow the plan of moving more and eating less? Yes, sweet. You're on the road to success. All right? It's the same type of situation. All right, next slide here. All right. Patience is key.